Greetings all, I'm John, these are my thoughts, and welcome to the Whiskey Pulpit. Now, a question that's probably the most brilliant question asked to strident, outspoken atheists is, why bother? That's probably the best question, because it sees our position. It says, since you are arguing that there's no afterlife, that this is it, then why are you spending your finite time on arguing against a religion that you don't believe? That's a pretty awesome argument, I have to admit. That's a pretty awesome argument, but the answer is because we think it's wrong. And because the influence of religion goes far beyond an assertion of its validity or invalidity in global politics, in morality as a whole, in diplomacy, even in policy for environmental protection. Religiosity gets in the way. Because in our Congress, people have denied that global warming is something that needs to be addressed. Because they say, where's the evidence, where's the evidence, where's the evidence? You know, they're so skeptical of everything except God, which requires no evidence, which is really the hugest part of the hypocrisy of belief, is that these people already believe in God. And therefore, anything that goes against it requires such an amount of evidence that will never be met, because to them, evidence is something that they can see with their own eyes, which is retarded. Like, where's the evidence for evolution? Go to a museum. There's not enough evidence there. Like, you couldn't show me any amount of evidence for your point, for me to accept it, because I believe in God. See, it's that closed-mindedness that we come to argue against, that we say this is wrong, this is something that needs our attention, that needs our really needs to get hit with some intellectual snowballs. You know, it's a great point to ask, why do you bother? But it's also, I mean, it would be just as valid to ask someone, why do you think, animal cruelty is wrong? No one's being cruel to your animals. Well, the problem is, if I feel that it's an important issue in the world today, that it abuses those who lack the strength or experience or power to be against it, to have a dissenting opinion, then I'm gonna talk about that, and I'm gonna try to open a dialogue. And I think it's the question is not whether or not it's true. I think, to me, that question is already answered, and I think the answer, if you open your eyes, is absolutely not. There's no way. You have to come up with all sorts of metaphysical claims about this supernatural, omniscient, omnipotent, benevolent being that allows so much suffering to happen and injustice in the natural world, and then citing a supreme justice in an afterlife to which you have no evidence for. To me, that's very irrational. To me, that is completely made up. And to me personally, who I've been subjected to religion in a great degree as a child, and I was very, very devout, even up until I was about 22, and at one point I was even a music minister. I was an organist and choir director at 2 Methodist churches near the college that I attended. Like, I've really thought about this stuff, and I've read the Bible, and I can quote scripture as good as most believers can. Of course, it's in there that the devil quotes scripture too, but I'm not a devil. And I just sort of want to open this dialogue where we can discuss whether or not religion has a place in politics, whether or not religion has a place in diplomacy. I think its place should be the paper shredder, so we can talk about real human issues like overpopulation instead of abortion. That's what I think. Cheers.